Welcome back to the Quinexus podcast. I'm Chuck.
I'm Jack.
Today we are going to talk about insider security threats. The big three insider security threats that we hear about are data exfiltration, privilege misuse, and data aggregation. Let's start with data exfiltration. What does that mean?
Data exfiltration is taking data offsite or taking data from a system that's authorized to have the data onto a system that's not authorized to have the data. Why is this important? Today more than ever, especially with work from home, some companies have gone out and bought notebooks for clients or for their employees to have systems that are attached to the network and have data on it. Others are letting users use their home computers. Depending on how they're using their home computers, if they're actually installing company data on it and not just using it to remote in and using it as a terminal, that's a form of data exfiltration. And when work from home is over, chances are that data won't be deleted off that system. It's going to remain there. Another form of data exfiltration is cloud solutions. Dropbox is one of the most popular cloud solutions out there. And if you're working on a project, you may think it's okay to take the files you're working on, put them in Dropbox, so when you get home or wherever you want to work, you've got them available at multiple sites. If Dropbox is not authorized, you've just taken data and put it out there. It's not authorized to be in Dropbox. Data exfiltration is up there. I forgot what the percentage is.
62%, it's the big one.
62% of insider threats are data being taken off the corporate network or off corporate systems and is now out of the control of the organization.
The next big threat, coming in at 19%, is permission misuse. What does permission misuse mean?
Permission misuse happens when somebody has more permissions than they need to do their job. Or they have permissions and they're using what's called a privilege account to do administrative type work. It goes back to the theory or the principle of least privilege. Each user should only have enough access to do what they need to do to perform their job function. If someone has too much access, they can take that access and view things they shouldn't. An example, you work in a medical facility or in a medical environment, or you have access to electronic health records. Just because you have access at this time to view them, if you don't have a need, if it is not your job to view certain records, and you do, that's permission misuse, which also happens to be a HIPAA violation. Network administrators have very high level of privilege to do and maintain the network. Network administrator accounts should not be used as an everyday account. I, as the owner of a company, have network admin privileges on the company network. When I log into my network, I log in as a regular user with only the rights I need to view the system and tools I need to do my job. My network admins here only have rights to do what they need to do when they're doing their job, but if they need to work on the network, we log in with a separate account. That login actually gets logged, and anything we do on the network is also logged. So we have an AD auditing trail going on to make sure that there's no permission misuse going on, and if something does change, we know who was in the system at what time and who made the changes to the system. This is very important if you work in any kind of regulated industry.
The third big three of this insider security threat is data aggregation. What does that mean?
Data aggregation is where you take bits and pieces of information and you aggregate them to figure out what is going on, the big story. If you work for a government contractor, chances are you handle something called controlled unclassified information, CUI. And the little piece you're doing may be innocuous. It may be nothing. You may just be making parts that go into some big assembly, or you may be making some sub-assemblies. Doesn't matter. But if I know you're making these sub-assemblies, and I know another company is making some other sub-assemblies, I can figure out what your organization is working on and what the bigger picture, what the government may be working on. If you're in the finance industry and you've got any industry, and you have some internal project going on, and your employees are sharing information on Facebook, and it's really, you don't want this information to get out. It's going to give you a competitive advantage, but you've got enough employees talking about little pieces of it. Your competitor can start aggregating this information, put it together, and find out what you're doing internally and take away your competitive edge.
We know that most insider threats are unintentional. So the first way that we deal with these is training.
Right.
So people don't know that taking data off the network onto a USB drive and taking it home for convenience is wrong unless you're training them. What are the other solutions to insider threats?
We can put technical controls in place to prevent someone from plugging a USB key into a computer and taking data off site. We can put firewall rules in to block users from using cloud file sharing solutions such as Dropbox, Google Drive. And we can also put controls in place that if someone attempts to download data to a USB stick or upload data to a cloud solution, to send off an alert. The alert will let the security team or an admin know that there's been some type of a policy violation, whether it be intentional or unintentional. Most likely it'll be unintentional. Again, someone just trying to make their job a little bit easier. And at that point, remediation and training is called for.
Today we talked about insider threats and the big three threats that we see out there. To learn more about how to protect your organization against insider threats, feel free to reach out, give us a call, and we look forward to hearing from you.